Hello, good morning and welcome. It's the third day of Christmas, so the merry bells are still ringing and we wish you and family very well. This morning we have a double shot for you, but first we'll show you this and then go ahead. My name is Jones Hussein. Please feel welcome.
Can I see your vehicle papers? Bring your vehicle papers out. I want the vehicle papers, the insurance, and the roadworthiness. Please enter the vehicle.
Imagining the stress they will go through, talking their way out of the situation.
Let me see if I can issue you a ticket. Leadway Assurance asked me to give you this. So compliment of the season, please. So compliment of the season. Ticket, right?
Yes, I'm so grateful. What kind of things such things, and I'm very grateful.
All right. Say what? Thank you so much. God bless you.
Drive assured with Leadway Assurance.
All right, this is not an everyday occurrence on our roads, but sure tells you that Leadway Assurance Company Limited, as a corporate entity, is particular about your safety on the roads. I have a representative of the company here. May I say Merry Christmas to you, madam?
Merry Christmas, sir.
She is Bumi Adeleye, by definition, head corporate services of the company.
That's right.
I greet you too.
Thank you, sir.
And we have, not unexpectedly, the Corps Commander, Hyginus Omejo. He's the sector commander of the Lagos State Sector Command of the FRSC, a very familiar face. Hyginus Omejo, I greet you.
Good morning, Citizen Jones and our viewers.
All right, then, madam, let's, so why the partnership?
With the FRSC?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, it's Christmas.
Okay.
Okay, and there is a lot of travel that happens around this time.
Towing and froing.
Towing and froing, you know, to the village, back from the village, people coming in from out of town. And so a lot of people are on the roads. We find that about this time, Lagos peaks in terms of traffic and then it just empties, you know, because people have gone and people are coming back and all of that. And you'd find also that there's also the advent, I mean, you can't avoid it, of road traffic accidents, of all sorts of things going on the roads. And so we decided that as part of our corporate social responsibility, that we would try to encourage the citizenry to be safer on the roads, make sure that you have a valid insurance cover, because if anything happens, so that if anything happens, at least yourself, the people that are with you, the third parties on the road are adequately protected. You don't have to dip into your pockets to sort out anything this Christmas. You can enjoy a Christmas that is peaceful, without necessarily having to dip into your pocket to sort out whatever.
Okay. We'll come back to third party and all that.
Yes.
Hyginus, people still drive in a manner that makes you think they are late for accidents. so see, your hands are full at a time like this.
Yeah, yeah. If you ask me, if you are to be an ordinary trader in the market, I will tell you that we are in season. So FRSC is also in season and peak periods like this. Like she said, okay, you suddenly see the traffic volume tripling, not just doubling, but tripling within this period, and a lot of people traveling. Okay, when you also look at the public holiday that was added to the weekend and all those things. So since the beginning of last week, it has really been very busy for us on the road, a lot of people traveling. We have also used this opportunity to step up our game in terms of our enlightenment campaigns and also enforcement, and also in terms of strategic deployment, so that in the event of the unexpected happening, then we will always be there at at every point in time, and that's why you can see the handshake where it comes in. In the event of a crash, we could also be sure that a person we are taking to hospital have so-called somewhere coming from insurance companies.
Have we resolved the issue of taking accident victims to hospitals and not having hiccups?
Well, yeah, I think we are overcoming that thanks to Lagos State government and the road accident clinic we have at the toll gate that readily takes crash victims without much ado about nothing.
Okay.
You know.
And quickly, so what do you see as the outcome of this partnership with Leadway?
I think it's all about sensitization also in terms of getting people to be aware of the need for them to also have genuine insurance cover just in case anything happens. Nobody is praying for it, but just in case it happens. FRSC have been in the vanguard. We've been partnering not just with Leadway, but Nigerian Insurance Agency, NIA, the association, the umbrella body of this. Look, you recall that when we introduced this new plate number that we are doing, before you could properly register your vehicle, you must also take insurance cover that we can really say provide that third-party cover, as it were. And that was when we now succeeded in migrating from people having papers and police let me go to real genuine third-party insurance where you can really say yes, you are undercover in the real sense.
Bumi, quickly, third-party insurance, have we placed a finger on it?
When you say place a finger,
what I mean is it defined now? Some people will get new vehicles and quickly, second, you know, and go for third-party insurance.
Yeah, it's the minimum cover that you have to take on your car.
Okay.
You cannot be on the roads without the minimum of a third-party cover. It's also the widest cover that anybody can take, understandably, and it's the cheapest. It's about 5,000 naira now minimum. Yeah. Of course, there's some companies that offer you discounts on that as well, you know, but it's minimum 5,000 naira. So, yeah, you have to have a third-party cover minimum on your car.
Okay. So where do we go from here?
Well, I think we can just push it further, even away from third cover people. I'm looking for a period we should even advocate people having comprehensive for most of all the cars. Yeah. As much as the minimum is third party, we should go beyond even third party. But even if we can push it further, we have succeeded in doing something. We have succeeded in taking the quacks out of business, such that people can now go and pick genuine third cover. Anything worth doing is worth doing well. So if we cannot pick comprehensive, at least let us be sure that the day we had that exercise on the road, we still identified insurance covers that were fake. And we rightly pointed it out to the person that was carrying it. The woman said, this insurance cover you are carrying is fake, because NIA has provided us with devices that we can readily use, even on our phone, and determine which one is a genuine insurance paper or not.
Bumi, are we likely to have this partnership, or this is just a one-off thing?
Hopefully not. We do not expect it to be one-off. And we're looking towards partnering not just with the FRSC, but with other agencies in order to just make sure that the public is properly protected. And of course, talk about Leadway and talk about the product that we offer. And the fact that if you do want genuine insurance, not just for third party, but third party fire and theft and comprehensive, which, as an aside, was one of the beauties of this partnership that we have with the FRSC, such that it wasn't just about third party covers, but people that had comprehensive covers as well, people that had third party fire and theft. And you can check it. You yourself can check if your cover is genuine, because there's a platform that the NIA, floated, the NIID platform, where you can check online real time. Okay. If your car is on that platform, it means it's genuine. If it's not on that platform, then you need to go and check where you got it from. Yeah. So it's exciting to be able to partner with agencies like the FRSC to be able to bring this kind of covers to the public. Hygiene is a handshake.
Yeah.
Is the FRSC much more friendly than they used to be?
I think that documentary that was showed says it all.
Yeah.
In all honesty, the day we had that exercise on the road, the men, they were not aware that we're under camera cover. we just did it. I recall getting a call from a friend telling me there is problem. I said, somebody is videoing your men, and your men is not aware that they are being videoed. I said, well, whatever it is, perhaps it may be our intelligent undercover agents that are really trying to see whether they are doing something else other than what they are expected to do. So you could see through that yes, I think all the enlightenment programs and in-house capacity building we have been doing is paying off, in the sense that we really want the public to see FRSC personnel as friends and partners in this progress, not otherwise. It's true that you may be giving citation, but I want you to also see that citation as the popular saying, I say, if you spare the rod, you will spoil the child. Yeah. It's just a case of giving you a small cane so that you be able to.
In the 21st century, you stop using the rod. But the
so,
law.
But the law, the law is just have to be implemented.
The laws regulate societies.
And I also want to say this, beyond what we are even doing now, I think there is also need for the public out there. I'm so concerned that each time there's a road crash, you get to the hospital. At the end of the day, people just do like this. Nobody asks for this cover that we are talking about. Yeah. So you discover that I pay third party, you pay third party, she pays third party. At the end of the day, nobody goes to say, oh, I was injured. Because actually, if you were involved in a journey and there's a crash, if you report it and follow due process, you are supposed to get some compensation.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But I discovered nobody does it, and it gives me concern.
Okay, Bumi, just before we go, you don't take an insurance cover because you expect an accident. No. It ensures that you don't lose everything.
Peace of mind.
Good. So, Sweet Cell Leadway in 30 seconds to the viewer. He's watching you.
Leadway Assurance is your efficient and reliable partner in life. We're here, we've been here for over almost 50 years. And we're here to ensure your happiness throughout life. Look at us as a partner that holds your hand throughout the stages of life.
Okay. Please, Sweet Cell road safety in 30 seconds.
Okay, I still want to continue our campaign. It's not yet over. Until it is over, people have traveled, they will need to come back. And so please, even as we make a return journey, avoid overspeeding. Speed has been identified as one of the risk factors responsible for the carnages.
And not juju.
And not any spirit, any demon wanting to suck them. And don't overload your vehicles, and let us avoid distracted driving. That's another killer. That's another killer we're now having on the road.
Please. Let me thank Hyginus Omeje, the Sector Commander, Lagos State Commander of the FRSC. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes.
Bumi Adele, I said jokingly, you look very well fed. Very good. Good. Very nice to see you.
Thank you very much, sir.
At Christmas time.
Thank you very much. Merry Christmas.
Please stay. We have more for you on this show.
Can I see your vehicle papers? Bring your vehicle papers out. I want the vehicle papers, the insurance, and the roadworthiness. Please enter the vehicle.
Imagining the stress they will go through, talking their way out of the situation.
Let me see if I can issue you a ticket. Leadway Assurance asked me to give you this. So compliment of the season.
Traveled, they will need to come back. And so please, even as we make a return journey, avoid overspeeding. Speed has been identified as one of the risk factors responsible for the carnages.
And not juju.
And not any spirit, any demon wanting to suck them. And don't overload your vehicles, and let us avoid distracted driving. That's another killer. That's another killer we're now having on the road.
Please. Let me thank Hyginus Omeje, the Sector Commander, Lagos State Commander of the FRSC. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes.
Bumi Adele, I said jokingly, you look very well fed. Very good. Good. Very nice to see you.
Thank you very much, sir.
At Christmas time.
Thank you very much. Merry Christmas.
Please stay. We have more for you on this show.
Can I see your vehicle papers? Bring your vehicle papers out. I want the vehicle papers, the insurance, and the roadworthiness. Please enter the vehicle.
Imagining the stress they will go through, talking their way out of the situation.
Let me see if I can issue you a ticket. Leadway Assurance asked me to give you this. So compliment of the season, please. So compliment of the season. Ticket, right?
Yes, I'm so grateful. First time I'm seeing such thing and I'm very grateful.
All right. Say what? Thank you so much. God bless you.
Drive assured with Leadway Assurance.
All right, then. Glad to have you at the television. This morning, the leadership puzzle, a rep-secutor's way forward, almost everybody except those direct beneficiaries of the warped system agree that the trouble with that country is failed leadership over time. In ideal situations, the citizenry decides who leads it at the behest of one big man or another. In typical fashion, the House of Representatives has political parties where presidential and governorship candidates emerge to contest national elections. Let me introduce my guest this morning. Tony Dania is an attorney at law. He's also a political affairs analyst. Tony, I greet you. Welcome.
Good morning.
Merry Christmas to you.
Thank you very much.
Comrade Ayodele Adewale is a very popular face with this house. Comrade, I greet you. Welcome.
Good morning, sir.
Merry Christmas to you.
Thank you so much, and Happy New Year in advance.
No, now there are two harmonized bills floated by the House of Representatives. One, a bill for an act to establish the Electoral Offences Tribunal for the purpose of trying electoral offences, and two, a bill for an act to establish the Nigerian Electoral Offences Commission, charged with the responsibility of prohibition and prosecution of electoral offences. Doesn't sound anything new.
Yeah, it's not new. No, really it's not new. I think what the House needed to have done is to create a bill putting up a special court for that purpose, and of course giving them a timeline. Timeline could be 5 months, 6 months. Unlike what we see that people will be trying for 3 years, 4 years, and in perpetuality, it's totally wrong. We do need a special court for that matter.
It says, Tony, that a political party has the choice of direct or indirect primaries to contest national elections. So you start from the ward.
Yes.
Again, is that anything new?
Oh, well, primaries have always started from the ward. You know, we have the primaries for ward chairman, ward leaders, and those contesting within the constituency for the chairmanship position or State House of Assembly. Then it moves on to the governorship candidate and members of the National Assembly, and then the presidency. But subject to we reading the details, I think what they are trying to do is to make whoever emerges as the governor's candidate or presidential candidate be a grassroots person, somebody that comes from the grassroots, somebody that belongs to the people, not somebody who comes from maybe national prominence and come to impose himself down the chain to the grassroots.
Comrade, sounds like something from the utopian state. Is it possible?
Well, I see it from a different point of view, considering the fact that our own terrain is different and is money-driven. It will only create a lot of hurdles, particularly for people who means well and who might not have the financial big pocket to have gone through all this hurdle in full-fledged. What we had before, because I was privileged to be amongst delegates that ratified the constitution of the APC, and I was also there when President Buhari went through his primaries and even won the primaries. I think what we had before is better, where at the local level, they elect their representatives and they give them the authority to go to the center and cast votes for those who they have agreed to casting vote for ab initio before going to the center. But by the time you now synchronize it to the atomic level, it means that a lot of candidates, take for instance you understand, I mean, you're so good in what you're doing and people want you and all of that, but you don't have the deep pockets. So how do you do? How do you go around to every one of those people that occupy such space? So you have to pay a lot of money on transportation because you need to go around to see these people and talk to them in order for them to vote for you. You understand? Secondly, you need to do a lot of propaganda materials in order to get to them. Even if you're using social media, you need to employ people to do that on your behalf. So it's going to be a Herculean. I think what is best is to have representatives, you understand, that will go to the center and do it ab initio.
Tony, take this. The proposed bill provides for the commission, getting the empowerment to audit the books of political parties.
Yeah, the whole essence of these laws and bill is to see how they can improve on what has been pre-existing politically to enhance election that is transparent and all that. I'm sorry, I want to take us back. In the history of Nigeria, we still have the best, the freest election ever held to be the 1993 election till today, and it was an option A4. Now, the issue we have, look at what it cost us, the last general elections we had, from the ward level to the presidency that brought in President Buhari. I did my own amateur calculation, I'm not an accountant, and I got 380 billion naira. What do we do to save this cost and put them back into other areas? And you see, it is still the same old politicians, with respect, that have stolen our money, that have money to pass through the system that is existing. We must stop that. People that are qualified don't even contest. If you look at the arithmetic of those that voted, they are about 28% of the whole population of this country. There is this apathy. People are giving up. Yet everybody criticizes these politicians.
Tony,
so
this proposed bill
yes.
Provides for a limit to how much you can spend as a candidate.
But it doesn't affect INEC. INEC collected billions.
From who?
From the federal government to conduct elections. And you see, if I can remember very well, 70 billion first. Later, they got Jonathan to approve another 80 billion to conduct elections in the country. This bill, how will it work? I've not read it. Had it been, I had a forehand information, I would have gone through it.
Well,
but how do you limit? It will be very, very good if it works. People who are qualified, who have the interest of the people at heart will now contest. Because most people that are contesting right now are people that have less than 50% interest in sincere governance.
Okay. Sincere governance, we'll underline that.
Yes.
Comrade, the bill bars political parties from accepting donations from anywhere in excess of
100,000.
100,000 naira? Possible?
Well,
are you seeing the picture?
Well, for me, the funds don't really matter. It doesn't really matter. You could have people who are passionate to giving their time. You understand? If you give your time could be worth maybe $1 billion naira. Considering your intellectual property and all of that. I mean, if there's a social network, for instance, it goes beyond the fund. You understand? Yes, you need funds to do some certain things, but again, can they enforce? Can they enforce these limits?
Yeah, because Barrister Daniel talked about going back to 1993.
You see, we must
I don't want to say he's conventional or old-fashioned,
yeah.
But we're looking at Nigeria of the 21st century?
History is very good. History is very good. If you don't learn from history, you can't move forward.
Yeah.
Even the 1993 elections, a lot of funds were spent. Quite frankly, a lot of funds were spent. And what made the difference in the 1993 election is that people stood their grounds to protect their votes. It was not about the money Chief Abiola spent or Bashir Tofa spent. It's about the people saying that we voted. I want to ensure that our vote counts. That was what was on the ground. Even publicity, for instance. I will use your station as an analogy. To run a 30-second political advert, it runs into millions of naira. So how do you get those funds? But again, if the Electoral Act agrees that, news medium, electronic medium can align ideologically with a political party because of programs, and they could support you with X, Y, Z.
Without being labeled?
Can align.
Without being labeled. I thought I heard me. Yeah. You know, you talked about going back. How about going back to the Second Republic politics, where you were a member of a party, you paid membership fees, so you were joint owners. If you get a picture painting.
Yes. You see,
and not one big man
overriding. If we learn from history, like my colleagues here said, we would know that the issue we have is that those who are supposed to lead, who are supposed to be tutored by what has happened in the past, and level on that to improve on what will happen in the future. You'll be surprised that they are not introspective. For example, let me digress a little bit. Dangote is building a refinery with about $25 billion. We have been maintaining our moribund refinery with, if you calculate from the time they have been monitoring, with more than almost that amount or more than that amount. And let me predict that in 5 years after the activation of Dangote refinery, he is likely to buy this refinery, which is moribund now. Now, the earlier formulator of our policies ought to have anticipated that since we have enough crude oil, we need local refineries. Now, let me bring back that analogy to what we are discussing here. At the beginning, the Nigerian structure itself, the earlier politicians were learning from the past, and that's why the NEC chairman, as at 1993, came up with option A4. Option A4 is an open voting system. That is
open secret.
It is open. You just queue.
Open. The secret means when you go to thumbprint.
Yes.
The other line people don't see what you are.
Exactly. That is the secret part. Yeah. Otherwise, you just stay on the queue. It is a very cheap way of conducting an election. Very cheap. Yes, without prejudice to the fact that those contesting elections themselves, if we want to implement this new law, it will work. And one thing I want to say about Nigeria is that the moment we decide to toe a positive line, we all go on with it. You understand? Nigerians are very good, easy to manage. The only thing you need to do, let the leaders lead by example. You understand me? If the leaders the fight against the queue, it is a very cheap way of conducting an election. Very cheap. Yes, without prejudice to the fact that those contesting elections themselves, if we want to implement this new law, it will work. And one thing I want to say about Nigeria is that the moment we decide to toe a positive line, we all go on with it. You understand? Nigerians are very good, easy to manage. The only thing you need to do, let the leaders lead by example. You understand me? If the leaders, the fight against corruption is not selective or seem to be selective, it's open, and a particular agency is not overwhelmed, EFCC is overwhelmed, corruption, we don't need to vilify somebody to fight corruption. We just need to let it go around, let everybody know that avoid this, it is proper to do this.
All right.
You understand me?
We'll take a break here, but even as you are reveling in the Christmas holiday, please remember that you can spare a moment or two to think about the leadership conundrum in this country. It's at issue. We'll be back. All right, my guest here believe that Nigerians are and easy people to lead. So the missing link is leadership. Gentlemen, the bill provides in the case of nominations to the position of president, a political party shall hold special conventions in each of the 36 states and the FCT, where delegates shall vote for each of the aspirants at designated centers in the state capital. That always delegates, getting delegates to be a part of the system, making leadership become meaningful in this country. Delegates are bought. That's what we are told.
I'm not, I won't agree to that.
You were a delegate?
Yeah.
You think you didn't receive anything?
No.
Or
nobody.
You refused to receive?
Nobody. We were not even offered.
Okay.
We were not even offered. Nobody. You see, these delegates are elected from a Congress by the party. Everybody get into it. For instance, you want to vote for the treasurer, you want to vote for the ward chairman. Yeah, I took part in it. It was very torturous. It was very torturous. I stood up for like 9 hours in the whole of the process. And you go around making sure that a lot of people get to be part of it. And that was what APC did. APC opened centers at various INEC units 5 years ago. Various INEC units. So everybody came, both the active members came, the apolitical members came, and everybody, got registered. Then they used that slip on the day of voting for their representatives into various offices at the ward level. And those become your delegates.
I'm talking about an intervening period within which time, Daniel, the big man syndrome would come.
Yes. I'm not saying that it is not possible for people to oil palms in order to get their conscience. I'm not saying it's not possible. But what I'm saying that in the APC that I saw, I took part in, no money, exchange hands.
Well, you
and
are
I
a
crossed my
politician.
heart to that.
But you are a politician. Maybe you are just one.
The one I saw.
Okay.
That I took part in, that I saw.
Maybe the one
I'm not saying it's not possible.
You were allowed to see.
I see everything.
Okay.
I'm opportune to see everything.
Yeah, if I may just come in here.
Yeah.
Let us use the word that it was rumored, because nobody has proved anything, as far as I'm concerned. But there is also,
allegedly.
Yes, there is also this saying that in every rumor there's some small element of truth. There is no way money wouldn't have been spent. What the money was spent for is what we can't really tell. But candidates usually spend so much money. It was rumored that the former Vice President Atiku spent money, but he didn't succeed. It was rumored that the current president did not spend. Rather, he was addressing the conscience of the delegates. All this we had. Now,
nobody spent on his behalf.
Well, that's why I said
allegedly.
It was rumored that money was spent. You understand? I've given you what we had. So to some extent, I agree with him. Nobody has come forward to say, I received X amount. Nobody has come forward to say, I gave X amount to so person and he didn't vote for me. So to that extent, we leave it at that. It was rumored. So, but it is not, I am saying that candidates usually spend so much money.
Yeah.
The money that the average calculation I gave about 380 billion that was spent before the last election. All the series of elections, the last presidential election that brought in President Muhammad Buhari. What I calculated, including the money that was given to INEC, is about 380 billion. I'm saying that we could arrest this overspending. We will have this fund go into other aspects of the economy. So the best way to do it is, my suggestion to the National Assembly is that give chances to Nigeria to brainstorm and suggest to you. For instance, I've had this idea long ago of coming up with a bill to reduce the cost of spending. But like my colleague, Comrade,
on
said,
paper.
Yeah, like he said, the realities on ground would always make candidates to spend money. How do you now address those realities?
Comrade, there's no provision in this bill for something like an independent candidate. Aren't you troubled?
I'm very troubled about that, and I think the House should also go forward in making sure that that provision is made. Because in some corners of this country, you have people who are deeply entrenched in their communities. Regardless of party, their communities will go all out to vote for them. In addition to that, I think the bill should further go forward to say or regulate the fees charged by media houses. And that, no, let's be realistic. Let's be realistic. Let's be realistic. There should be a benchmark. I mean, they provide law for operations, and they should be that. Because you should see political interplay as a civic.
Comrade, I imagine process. You are not talking about the NTAs of this world or the FRC.
The private sector.
Okay.
The private media houses.
If you had a media house like this,
fees are
where
high.
Your generator runs 25 hours a day.
Why should it be that when it concerns electoral matters?
Their
bills are so high.
Let me take Odili. Odili is calling us from Abuja. Odili, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Gombe State. I'm sorry. Odili, you are reaching us from Gombe. Merry Christmas to you.
Yeah, thank you, President Jones.
The leadership puzzle, yeah.
I want to say Merry Christmas to former chairman Mr. Dania.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Yes. God gave Nigeria everything.
Amen.
Apart from disaster and leadership. I repeat, God gave Nigeria everything apart from disaster and leadership. It is left for us now to support good leadership and deliver dividend of democracy to Nigerians. Check everywhere in the world. Nigerians excel in their various fields of endeavor.
That's correct.
Why is it home we cannot excel? That is a $1 million question.
Yeah.
Except everywhere. The showing cars, name it. Please, I enjoy the discussion, but let us be sincere. Somebody said sincere leadership. If we are sincere to ourselves, then the suffering is there. We have to restructure our inner selves.
Okay.
If we restructure ourselves, Nigeria is going to go places. Thank you very much.
Many thanks, Odili. Except that I quarrel with the claim by Odili that God denied us leadership.
God hasn't done that.
And disaster.
And disaster.
Yes, I agree with that of disaster. The leadership we have.
As they say in America, God is blessing America, but is America blessing God?
Now, before we react to Odili, let me quickly say that, sorry, with respect to my colleague, the law contains room for independent candidates, the electoral laws, as it is.
The electoral laws,
yes, yeah. It contains. And I don't see this law, this bill, stating that it wants to repeal the electoral law. Until that is done, then you can say you don't have room for independent candidates. I haven't said that. You see, we have leadership, but like...
Let's quickly expand that. How does the independent candidate go through this maze?
No, the process is stated there, though we've not seen any independent candidate.
I'm not seeing it here. Independent candidate.
You are talking of the bill that is being proposed. I am saying the existing electoral laws allows it. You understand? Yeah. Yes, it allows it. So if you are an independent candidate, you just go to INEC. They will give you the procedure you follow. Yes, an independent candidate can contest in this country. Having said that, leadership, a tree cannot make a forest. If, for instance...
It can make the difference.
Yes, it can make a difference. But if your governor is good, for instance, and he has true intention to govern, what about the commissioners? What about the local government chairman? What about the councillors? What about the members of the house? So...
It's a rhetorical question because a team is as good as the captain.
No.
The captain picks the teammates. In this case, the governor picks the commissioners.
The governor does not pick the members of the State House of Assembly. The president does not pick the members of the National Assembly. We all knew what happened. The first budget that the president wanted to give. We all saw what happened. The whole noise, everything, the unnecessary controversy and all that. We saw it. We also knew what happens in the past.
Let me take a quick call here. It's coming from Lagos. Hello, Reverend Dominic is here in Lagos. Reverend, I greet you. Welcome.
Good morning, Citizen Jones.
Yes, sir.
Please let me use the opportunity to correct. You misunderstood my contribution yesterday. And what I was trying to say is that we should not trivialize the issue at hand. Because in the floor of Senate, they were trying to trivialize it. What we contributed yesterday, I was saying we should not put nepotism to it. Anybody can be arrested, anybody can be, checked, anybody can be, it shouldn't be a tribal issue.
Thank you.
The topic is this.
Thank you, Dominic. Thank you, Dominic. Nobody said you made any wrong statement. We talk about body language. Yeah.
Yes, I agree with him. Nobody is above the law. And then relating that to this too,
yeah.
The tribunal they are trying to set up, we already have courts hearing matters that relate to any offense, whether the offense is electoral offense.
You're a lawyer, you can help us here. I hear that many outstanding electoral matters are still at courts as we sit here.
Yes.
What does that say to you?
You see, as much as we want to tie the hearing of these cases to a limit, a time limit, we need to consider the essence of justice. I think the courts, the judges should be able to manage their cases, because there are some lawyers, with respect, you say go and frustrate this case. Their own is not to go and get the case heard fast on merit, it's to do everything technically possible to frustrate it.
Oh, that's part of what you people do.
No, don't get me wrong.
No, I say lawyers, not you.
I said some lawyers might do that.
So
judges,
yeah.
we are not saying the same thing.
Okay.
Judges should be able to take note of such smartness, handle it. If you discover that a lawyer is trying to be smart, you just want to waste the time of the court, you are the owner of the court, you should be able to handle it. But again, you can only handle it within the limit of the law, because a case can always go to the next appellate court. And if it goes there and it is discovered that you did not give somebody the time to air his own side of a case, you did not allow him enough time to state his case, then...
Tony, even in the same vein, you still talk about a warped criminal justice system. Let me quickly take Femi in Surulere. Femi, welcome.
Hello, good day, Citizen Jones.
Welcome.
Good day to everyone out here.
Good day.
My own contribution is that leadership alone cannot take control of the whole thing. Because if you look at the present example, we have Buhari as the president, he has some agenda, and the agenda in the Senate is completely at variance to what the agenda he has for us.
You can only handle it within the limit of the law, because a case can always go to the next appellate court. And if it goes there and it is discovered that you did not give somebody the time to air his own side of a case, you did not allow him enough time to state his case, then...
Tony, even in the same vein, you still talk about a warped criminal justice system. Let me quickly take Femi in Surulere. Femi, welcome.
Hello, good day, Citizen Jones.
Welcome.
Good day to everyone out here.
Good day.
My own contribution is that leadership alone cannot take control of the whole thing. Because if you look at the present example, we have Buhari as the president, he has some agenda, and the agenda in the Senate is completely at variance to what the agenda he has for us. And he cannot fall, just the way he said that this is not a military era. He has to go through all the other things. And we know that the Senate is putting every obstruction on its way in achieving his aim. So that's why we cannot really say this thing. And then the other thing is that most of the leaders we get, when we get them there, they are always afflicted with madness. Madness comes into them. We should beg God to help us to stop that type of thing. Thank you.
Femi, we have...
But I must always say that it's not easy to lead in the Nigerian context, because you are bombarded. I'm very sure my colleague can...
Is Nigeria a difficult country to run?
Nigerians are not difficult to rule, to manage.
What is difficult?
Now, a leader that is...
What's difficult? Nigerians are not difficult?
Nigerians are not difficult to govern.
Where's the problem?
The problem is the leadership. And then the leadership, again, I've said a tree cannot make a forest.
It can make all the difference in a forest.
Listen, in the Nigerian context. When you become the governor, the chairman of a local government, or the president, I'm very sure Comrade can attest to this. You come under tremendous pressure from those who see themselves as the powers that be, that want to control you. Your ability to go to push them aside and satisfy.
Be your own man. We'll come. But let me take Jose here in Lagos. Jose, welcome.
Thank you very much. Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning,
please.
Boris Daniel, how are you there?
Morning, my brother. I salute you.
Good morning. Compliment of the season.
I wish you the same.
Go on. You are speaking in slow motion. Pack it in, you know.
That's how I talk.
Now, I think my take, I want to dwell more on post-election.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
On.
I think we electorate need more enlightenment vis-a-vis the power we possess after electing, the office holders, be it president, be it National Assembly members, governors, commissioners. No, commissioners are not, they are appointed, rather state house members. You see, it's high time we need to understand what accountability is all about. If we get it wrong at the stage of electing them, we should be able to exercise that power even after they've been sworn in. When
I just say your speed, take us home in time.
An average rep underperforming, let the constituency rally around and recall the shot.
Yeah, thank you. Because the power of recall is in the Constitution.
Yes, you can see the way they deliberately frustrated attempts to recall. We are on one, the popular man, what is his name, Senator Dino. Yeah. You understand? The people that are supposed to, yes, because those that initiated it are very serious. They want it on. Otherwise, the frustrative moves made by those who are even supposed to implement the process is enough to have shut down that thing.
Barrister, let's go to our man, Comrade. Comrade had been there.
Yes.
At the third tier, he was chairman of council. Being your own man is the problem here. That's what we are talking about. Yes. You go there with a dream, and as soon as you get there, the dream fizzles out. Yeah, is there a mafia, a mafioso or something?
There is no mafia in the system. There's no mafia structure. It's just that we're getting it very wrong.
Okay.
With the template that he has been speaking on, you're talking from the perspective of an independent candidate. The independent man only has his programs. It's not structured. It's structured to his mind and to himself. But when you're talking about political party now, you have a stream, you have a program that everybody must key into. And remember that it is the party that have helped you into office. Yeah. And you must stick stricto sensu to the operational dealings, programs, and actions of the party.
But don't forget, you just put a little pause there. We'll talk about the promises you made to your electorate. Let me take Maxwell is in Tema, Ghana. Maxwell, welcome.
Good morning. Good morning, Mr. Johnson. Good morning to the two gentlemen.
We greet you.
Good morning.
My contribution this morning in respect to this topic today is that I don't think that Nigeria has a problem of bad leadership. What Nigeria lacks is strong institutions. Nigeria has no strong institution that can stay the test of time and take decisions by themselves. That is what Nigeria lacks. And when a country, is beaten by that element of not having a strong institution, I don't think that country will move forward. Most of the countries we see today outside, look at US. We always take US as an example. US has strong institutions, and when the president, and it is not in line with some of the institutions affected, they will counter it. But
Maxwell,
that can never happen in Nigeria.
Maxwell, just before you go, you are in Ghana, not in Nigeria. In Ghana, institutions work because they are men, strong men, to propel them. I hear you can't beat the traffic in Ghana, right?
Yes.
But you can beat the traffic here. Is it about the institution or the men propelling the institution?
So, Mr. Jones, what I'm saying is this, is that if there is good leadership and strong institutions, that strong institution will drive it down to the followership. And once the institutions are strong, we have National Orientation Commission in Nigeria. What are they doing?
Maxwell, we are on the same page. I think we are saying the same thing in different manners. Yes. Strong institutions are driven or propelled by strong characters.
Let me take you back in history.
Yes.
Pre-independence, moving a bit into post-independence before the Civil War, we had nationalists. And each of them had a vision. They started the system. Now, taking you back to the Southwest, Awolowo was there. He created a roadmap. And before creation, he also had compatriots.
Yeah.
They all discussed.
Who believed in the dream.
They all discussed. How do we want the Southwest? How do we want the nation to look like? They propagated ideas and they reached a consensus. And they put it down as a blueprint. One, we need to grow our agricultural base, very strong base, in order to cure hunger so that the people can be very focused. Two, we need to provide education. If you don't provide education, no matter the institution you create, you won't have people to work them the way it should be worked and understood.
People.
Now, you need to grow these people. You need to groom them. If you don't groom them, you're not going to have efficiency. You need to provide health, infrastructure. And they are now groomed lieutenants to take charge of these systems. In this case now, how many people have you groomed to understand what you have created? You are having straight bed fellows to control systems. They cannot understand what you have created. Sorry. Because we are only populating the political space in order to gain power. And if you look at the Lagos, if you look at the Lagos achievement, what Asiwaju simply did was to key into the Awolowo program, expanded it, and groomed people to handle it.
Still talking about strong human beings propelling strong institutions.
You have to groom them.
Let me take Bognot. I hope I got that right in Abuja. Welcome.
Yeah. Good morning.
I greet you, sir.
You know, I have a different opinion, a different view to this topic we're discussing. From what I've seen so far in Nigeria, it's a two-way thing. Followership and leadership. The guy in Ghana was talking about building this institution, and you are trying to point out something very vital. Now, people propelling the institution. Now, I am not a fan of Tinubu, but this guy has been able to create a system that is working. Now, there is a will. He's not an excellent person. Like I said, I'm not his fan.
Go on.
But he is working, and I live in Lagos. And you could measure performance. Many times when people cry out on certain activities of followership or institutions that are not doing the right thing, you watch out, adjustment will come. We want a system in Nigeria that will work. In followership, we have issues. If I am an addict of PDP, for instance, and I'm able to pick out from other parties that are doing very well, individuals, people, not where they belong. Now, when you see someone is performing irrespective of your political, you speak out. You tell the world about him, that this fellow is doing the right thing. Okay. Others will copy from your own, from your own party, for instance.
Yeah. All right.
Sorry,
yeah.
You see, because we don't have much time, I sat here that I blame our earliest policy formulators. Who are our earliest policy formulators? Those who started fresh with us. Yes, they have good ideas, but there are certain basic things. If those things were established, Nigeria will be competing with America by today. Because Nigerians, by their nature, they learn faster, they adapt faster. And that is why they are excelling. If you want to talk about the best doctor,
you are closing your thoughts.
Excuse me. Yes, I'm closing. If we have regular electricity power, which we have the fund and the sincerity of these early leaders to do, by now it would have been gone. When did we started using GSM here in Nigeria? Cotonou, the shoemakers were using GSM. Before we started using GSM in Nigeria, is it that the past leaders don't know that communication is germane to development? Now, if you have light, education becomes easy. When you travel abroad, you don't need to look for generator or whatever. You study very easily. Yeah. Light, good rail, education, steel industry. Excuse me, let me end it.
Enabling environment.
Let me end it with this.
Yeah.
We have crude oil. We need vessels to carry this crude oil to export. How many Nigerians have vessels? What did the government do that time to enable us to acquire vessels? Do you know how much? Do you know that maritime brings in the same amount that oil brings in as income? I'm not happy that the earliest policy formulator of our country did not exploit all these opportunities.
Nobody is.
Yeah.
Comrade, how do you close?
Well, I will say Nigeria is very easy to manage. We have a lot of brains that can help us manage this country effectively. But the missing link was caused by the military, and the civil society also have understood now their mistake for not coming in large numbers in 1999. But moving forward, what we need to do, one, groom a lot of people to take charge of many responsibilities. It's not like a football team. If the coach does not groom the players very well, the scouts don't go out to pick.
A team is as good as a captain.
It's a team thing.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if I have a little opportunity.
No, you don't. We must go. Time is the master here. You have said it. You have. Let me go. Let us do other things. Well, the viewer must understand that the leadership conundrum will continue until we get it right. This is not rocket science. I wish you well this Christmas. Think the country. Bye-bye now.